in-person event. So we are thrilled to have all of you here at the office joining us for this extra special event tonight, the unveiling of cryptocurrency at Quest Trust Company. So very exciting. We'll kick it off tonight with just a few announcements. I see lots and lots of familiar faces and I think some new folks, but my name is Anne-Marie Rogers. I'm our VP of Sales. Thanks so much. Thank you guys for being here with us tonight. Believe it or not, we actually also have 500 people that are tuning in from all across the country. So lots and lots of excitement about cryptocurrency. Kind of little backstory, you know, at Quest, we really pride ourselves on being very modern, very progressive. We're always trying to bring lots of advances in the industry. And, you know, cryptocurrency was something that we didn't really know a whole lot about. Of course, there's so much buzz around it, but we kept getting kind of gentle nudges by our clients. And so when we built the relationship with ErisX and especially with John Denza, who is our keynote tonight, the Chief Commercial Officer at ErisX, we quickly formed a relationship and knew that this was something that we definitely wanted to dive into further. So ErisX is a phenomenal exchange that we've partnered with to bring the ability to do cryptocurrency investing here at Quest. Obviously, our bread and butter is real estate, note investing, private companies, and it will always remain that way. But we're excited to bring this new opportunity for you guys in self-direction. So a little bit about what we'll do tonight is we'll kick it off with just a few quick announcements. We really pride ourselves in being the education leader here at Quest. So we'll talk about some of the great events that we have coming up, introduce a few of the sponsors who took care of the delicious tacos and drinks that you guys all enjoyed earlier, and then we will bring up John. But to kick it off, I guess just by a show of hands, how many of you is it your very first time joining us here tonight? Okay, a few of you. Well, welcome. We're happy to have you. We kind of like to joke that we do events almost every single day of the week. So if you enjoy what you see tonight, we hope to see you back in the future. Little bit about us at Quest. We are the largest self-directed custodian in Texas. We have offices in Houston, of course. This is our corporate office, but also in Austin and Dallas as well. But truthfully, we have clients nationwide in almost all 50 states, $2 billion in administration and $400 million in undirected cash. Why this is important is for those of you that are here networking tonight, looking to do investments, and perhaps you don't have all of the capital to do that, self-directed IRAs are a great way to be able to tap into cash to fund all of your deals. Now, everything tonight that you'll hear about is just strictly for education purposes only. We always encourage you guys to consult with your power team, consult with your CPAs. There's a great one right here in the front row, Adam Barr. For those of you that are still stragglers and filing your taxes, that's your go-to guy. But consult with your attorneys and whatnot before you do your deals. Got to do the do, as Quincy says. So for those of you that are new, what exactly is a self-directed IRA? If I could really just cap it in just a couple words. Basically, there's no difference between a self-directed IRA and any other IRA that's out there. Self-directed is really just a marketing term that's trying to kind of connotate that you guys are the ones that are in control. You're the ones that are choosing the investments, but there's really no legal distinction between self-directed IRAs and any other type of IRA. Now, that's not to be mistaken that there's multiple different accounts out there. There's traditional IRAs, there's Roth IRAs, there's SEP IRAs, and the like. But Roth to Roth or SEP to SEP, they're all really the same. It's about finding a company like us here at Quest that's going to allow you to do the alternative side of things. Now, there's so many benefits of self-direction, but really the huge one is the ability to not only diversify outside of the stock market, but of course, as you're doing your investments, whether they're in real estate or whether they're in cryptocurrency, or the tax benefits, your investment profits are growing tax deferred or even tax free. Lots and lots of different accounts that we offer here, from retirement accounts to health savings accounts to education savings accounts where you can save for your kids' education. It seems like a lot of our clients will start off and they might have a retirement account, kind of dip their toe in, maybe move over an old 401k from a previous job, and they'll expand, their base. They'll come to some of the events and learn about it and expand into health savings accounts or education accounts and even begin to partner them all together. Lots and lots of investment choices. If you guys want a copy of these slides, we're happy to send them to you. Pretty much there's 5 easy steps. The first one is getting your account set up. Given that it is almost the tax filing deadline, we have a very special offer tonight where we are waiving all of the account setup fees. This is an opportunity that really only comes around one time a year. So if you're thinking about getting your account set up, we'll take care of that for free tonight. So as I said, we really pride ourselves on being the education leaders. These are some of the big events that we do consistently, from weekly classes on Tuesdays to self-directed Saturdays, every single Saturday at noon Central, virtual happy hours. And of course, if you miss it, if you're out with the family on a Saturday doing something and miss the class, you can always get the recap on YouTube and Facebook as well. Course, the tax filing deadline. So take advantage of that. If you're thinking about getting your account set up, now's a good time to do it. It's completely free with the coupon code TAXFREE22. And we have another upcoming event on April 14th. For those of you that are still looking to make those last minute contributions to your IRAs, it's a good opportunity to come do that in person here in Houston. Now, with that, I want to stop right before we bring up our sponsors and talk a little bit about this very, very special event. How many of you were able to attend either the 2018 or 2019 Expo that we did? Raise your hands. What'd you guys think? So this is a very special event. It's unlike, honestly, any event I think that I've ever been to. But it's unlike any event that we do at Quest. This is the biggest and the best event that we do all year. I went back and looked just so that I could tell you guys tonight. In 2019, in the good old days, pre-COVID and everything, we had 731 attendees, many of which were from Texas, but we actually got a huge, huge national presence. And we had hundreds of combined speakers and sponsors that had traveled in to join us for this event. So we're bringing it back for the first time since 2019, and we are expecting not 731, but 1,000 people this year. And we want you guys to be one of those 1,000 people that are there joining us. I'm on the road a lot. I do a lot of educational events and go out and travel to conferences. And typically when you go to the conferences, it's a note conference or it's a multifamily conference or it's something really catered to a specific audience. But we're so special and have the privilege of being completely neutral because, as you guys know, we don't sell any investments. And so the unique thing about the Quest Expo is that we bring speakers, sponsors, and education on almost any topic that you could possibly think of. If you want to talk about inflation, we're going to talk about that. If you're going to be thinking in September about forecasting for 2023, what the economy might look like, what the investment landscape might look like, we're going to be talking about that. Multifamily, oil and gas, energy, cryptocurrency, you name it, we're going to be talking about it. And of course, not to leave out real estate and note investing, which has really always been kind of our bread and butter. So with that, I'll go ahead and, yes, sir, you can buy tickets. I'm going to tell you how you can do that after I show you the video so you can get really a good feel of what this event was like.
You don't need a lot of money. The way to get rich is not working hard. It's taking the little bit of money that you have and learning how to leverage it and grow it tax-free. Everybody's got to start somewhere. There's a lot of money to be made in real estate, notes, commercial properties, from all different types of angles. Everybody's looking for something that's different. That's the whole idea of why Expo works. It's covering each other's haves, wants, and needs and creating win-win scenarios.
real estate investor for 9 years in the single-family space. My primary focus now is into multifamily.
It's my first time in a real estate event. I am very excited and I have absolutely no experience. I'm just here to make some connections and try to find investors who I can help.
Missed out on the Dallas Expo last year, so I wanted to make sure I made the Houston one. The whole reason I'm here is to get some more exposure, but also build contacts.
Here to learn more about note investing as well as private money raising. And then of course I wanted to do some networking as well in between.
Education, education, education. There's always more to learn. I definitely picked up some really good information here.
How we can save money on each deal with new tax laws, new loopholes.
I've always thought we were really isolated because we're in a small area up in North Texas. The people I've met here are from our area and have been investing in years, and what they've done, it's really opened my eyes to what possibilities we have in the future as far as our investing.
I mean, casino night is always a great time, and the networking will be phenomenal. We'll get to meet a lot of new people.
See new friends and hang
And
out
we
with them.
might throw the dice at a time or two, you know?
Recognize that guy?
It's not just the level of the speakers, it's the level of the people who are coming.
And coming to this expo is such a wonderful learning experience. There are hundreds of other real estate investors to network with and to learn from. The education, such a wide variety in any type of real estate investing that you're interested in. You're going to learn it here.
What'd you think? All right, so tonight and tonight only, and this includes everyone that's online, it's only tonight, we're doing a special promo. You can sign up, get your ticket right now, and use the promo code CRYPTO50. We have some of our IRA specialists that have iPads. If you guys want to just raise your hand, we'll help you, hand you an iPad as you enjoy the rest of the night. You can get signed up and get your ticket going. Anyone want your ticket? With that, though, we'll go ahead and bring up our sponsors really quickly. A big, big thank you to you guys for giving us those delicious tacos and drinks and making this all possible. We would not be able to do this without your support. But first up, I'll bring up Gabe, Blink Lending. I heard today as I was listening to the sponsors that you're the education sponsor extraordinaire. So I don't know if you came up with that or we came up with that, but that's what I heard.
Anna Marie, that's a lot of pressure. Crypto 50. Yeah. No, seriously, this expo is wonderful. I know everybody put their hands up. It is an amazing event, and it is a lot of fun. I mean, if education's your thing, of course, you're just starting out. If you're a veteran, education is the most important part of your growth. Agree? I get a little bit of a head shake right there, right? With Blink Lending, we do 5 different aspects of lending, right? There's the traditional lending, which is your conventional FHA, VA loans, both primary and investment. There's non-traditional loans we do, which is DSCR programs, new on board, bank statement programs, P&Ls, all that stuff can qualify you for an investment style loan. And then we do private money lending. Trying to buy a house that won't appraise, we can help you out with that, get it rehabbed, and either flip it or get it into another loan and get you out of that private money loan. And then we sell the paper. We sell notes. All that creates the private loans create a note. We then turn around and sell it. That's why we also love Quest so much. And also we love education. Check out our website, blinklending.com. It is solely geared for educating. FAQs, calculators, anything you can think of to get you going, and all the 4 things prior that I mentioned are all there. Any questions yet? Over 120 FAQs. Again, I implore you to go check out blinklending.com. Ravi in the back also, well, somewhere, I guess he disappeared. He's another gentleman in the suit, sweating. He's my partner, colleague, dear friend. Everybody probably knows Paul already, so I'm like, meh. No, just kidding. Love Paul. Thank you guys. Have a good evening.
One of our sponsors who could not be here tonight is Eckerd Enterprises, but we really, appreciate their support. They actually deal with oil and gas, so they will be at the Expo. Oil and gas investing is it's been around obviously for quite some time. Lots of our clients do it, but it's definitely a space that we're trying to bring more education for you guys because there has been so much interest. So at the Expo, we'll have lots of education as they're one of our big sponsors. Next is Mr. Steve with the Wealth Club.
So how is everybody tonight? Come on. Everybody's glad to be here. If you want to know about crypto, I'm not the person to ask. So I'm Steve with the Wealth Club, and the Wealth Club is our education side of the business. Education is everything, like Gabe was saying. It's so important that we get good education before we do anything when it comes to investing. And that's what we do. What makes us great educators is we are full-time real estate investors. That's what we do. We have flipped hundreds of homes. We have rental properties. We buy mortgage notes. We do owner finance. We do private lending. We do a lot of different things, and we educate the things that we do. We don't step out of our zone and try and teach things like crypto that I know nothing about. We're not gurus. We're just real honest folks trying to teach you good education, give you good advice, and make sure that you do your due diligence on any investment before you jump into it. That's the most important thing. And the reason I say that is because most people come to me after they made a mistake and ask me what I can do to help them. Well, most of the time I can't. We can give them advice, but if you've already into the bad deal, then how can we get out of the bad deal? What's the quickest avenue? So get to know us, the Wealth Club, so we can teach you this stuff before you jump into those deals. That's so important. And if anybody's going to be in Austin next week, I'm going to be there at Quest's office in Austin teaching that very subject. So get out and join us for that if you're going to be in Austin. And guys, the Expo. You got to get out to the Expo. This is a great event. We have a lot of fun there. I might even be up on stage a time or two. But we'll have a booth there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So get signed up for the Expo. This will be fantastic. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Quest.
Thanks so much, Steve. Adam, do you want to come up and say a few words?
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Did you know it is 12 days until the tax deadline? So the bad news is I kind of had to sell my soul to be here with you today, but I'm going to trust that it's worth it. So I'm a local CPA here, for those who don't know me. I sometimes speak for Quest about UBTI and related things like that for investments held in your IRA. I will be at Quest Expo. I'm going to be one of the speakers there as well. If you have any questions about tax or any questions about potentially what investments might be taxable within an IRA, let me know. Do I have any multifamily syndicators in the room? You're always my best friends, and I'd love to talk to you. We do a lot of multifamily returns. If you're feeling annoyed right now at your CPA for not having all of the K-1s ready for the investors by the end of last month, then you should talk to me, because we finished all of ours in March like we always do, and I'd be very happy to help with those. And I believe you mentioned oil and gas investing a moment ago. If you're looking at doing a working interest in oil and gas in your IRA, I have a tax strategy for that to help reduce taxes on that investment that I've used with other clients who are also Quest clients. So all those are things I can help you with. So feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to be here.
Can't say enough good things about Adam Barr. He very graciously lets us call him and pick his brain when we have complex tax questions ourselves here for our clients. So definitely, if you are looking for a qualified tax professional, he is your go-to. But with that, we'll go ahead and dive into the keynote presentation. We are thrilled to have Mr. John Denza here with us tonight. John is the Chief Commercial Officer with ErisX, which is the exchange that we're partnering with in order to bring cryptocurrency investing to Quest clients. And John has flown in all the way from New Jersey and braved the Houston traffic and the humid weather just to come and speak here with us tonight. So without further ado, give him a round of applause. Excited
Thank you,
to have
everybody. Really appreciate it. Anne-Marie, thank you for hosting me. Same with Quest. I appreciate it. So, who wants to learn about crypto tonight, huh? All right. A little bit of, do you have the slides? Perfect. And they just click the arrow to go advance? Yeah, try it. All right. Before we jump ahead. All right. So a little bit about myself. So I'm the Chief Commercial Officer for ErisX. Prior to being at ErisX, I've spent about 20 years in the exchange space, having worked for firms you've heard of before, SIBO, BATS, NASDAQ, always in a sales capacity, either it being in equities or options. And then 6 or 7 years ago, it's funny, my wife actually was the one that got me turned on to crypto. She was looking for alternative investments, was worried about the dollar, and was looking for other ways that we could invest, and I just fell down the fat rabbit hole. I would say I started investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum about 6, 7 years ago, and then was fortunate about 3 years ago to be able to partner up with ErisX, and the rest is history. I'm here now with the company and are about to be acquired by CBOE, Chicago Board of Options Exchange. So, all right, so let's dig in. Oh, not the right way. Am I going the wrong way? There we go. All right. So, all of you, I assume, have gone to Starbucks, gotten a latte, venti latte, and so forth. And let's say you walk to the counter. You want to pay for that latte. And what happens if you show up and you put a gold bar down on the counter? The lady's going to think you're nuts. Gold bar, gold coin, not divisible. Let's say the latte's $3.15. How are you going to get change? Well, that's the beauty of crypto. The beauty of crypto is, think about it this way. Most of you probably have the Starbucks app or the Dunkin' Donuts app on your phone. You walk up to the counter, you scan it, they deduct it from your account. Same thing is how it's related to crypto. Crypto works the same exact way. If you have a wallet or an account, you flash your barcode, it's going to deduct it directly from your account. It's a store of value. And the beauty about crypto, and I think a lot of people get confused about this, is the fact that you think that, oh, I got to buy a whole coin if I'm going to do it. And it's 45, 46,000. That's too much for me. Well, the beauty of the product is the fact that it goes out 8 decimal places. It's built to be sustained into the future. So if the product grows in value, you'll be able to buy and purchase. Right now, it's fractions of a penny, but in the future, you'll be able to buy pennies on something that could be maybe $300,000, $400,000, maybe even $1 million. We never know. So that's the beauty of the product. It's a store of value. So let's talk about store of value versus a smart contract. All of you have probably heard of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, smart contract is basically saying an if-then. It means if I do this, then this will happen. So you can actually put into the contract itself all the details of it, and then by putting all those details into the contract, then you actually don't have to worry about, let's say, there being a fault or a problem happening. Maybe there's human error if you weren't going to be doing it. That is what basically Ethereum is. Bitcoin, on the other hand, as I mentioned before, is actually a store of value. Now, this guy here has a house made of Lego blocks, which is a little crazy. What I'm trying to say here is blockchain. What is blockchain? Blockchain is not this guy with the Lego house and the blocks. Blockchain, think about it this way. In its simplest terms is, if everybody in this room was on an Excel spreadsheet and everybody was making updates, we could all see the updates in real time. And then if you made an update, it's immutable. What does that mean? That means that what I did is actually captured in history. It can never, you can't go back and rewrite history. Once you do it, it's set for life going forward. You guys have all probably heard of the term decentralized finance and centralized finance. Well, in simplest terms, all it really means is, think about the New York Stock Exchange. That's centralized finance. That means that you're going to a central location to actually buy stock. You're going and you're actually, think about it, you're in the data centers where the servers are. You're going to that central location and you're getting matched up. Well, DeFi is different in the sense that the beauty of it is the fact that it's actually peer-to-peer. you eliminate actually, let's say, the need for a bank to be in the middle of a transaction. It's between two peers being able to conduct that transaction. It's decentralized. That's it in its simplest terms. I love to use this as a smart contract to go back to what I was describing before. A smart contract works this way. Think about it. If it's late at night, you're in a hotel, you want to buy a Kit Kat bar. That Kit Kat bar, you go to the vending machine, and you see it's $1 to buy the Kit Kat. You put 50 cents in the machine, it doesn't fall down. Again, you hit A3, put 75 cents, it doesn't fall down. This time you put $1, it drops. It goes back to what I was saying before. It's an if-then statement. If I put this money in, if I hit A3, then the candy bar will drop. That's really what a smart contract is. Now let's think about taking it from an even more advanced level. Most of you have probably bought homes in the past. You've had to deal with the mortgage process before, and you have to go through a bank. And you know how laborious and how difficult, and you got to produce all this paperwork. They question everything and so forth. It's a long lead time. There's the possibility of human error. Well, in a smart contract, think about it. You can actually do my mortgage, or I could set up my mortgage with a peer-to-peer. I can actually line up the title, the rate, everything, all into a smart contract, and I could go to a peer group, and I can actually, I can ask for the loan from them. Happens on a daily basis right now. All of us have gotten mortgages at one point, and how many of you have actually seen your mortgage sold multiple times by the bank? Well, here, you're eliminating the bank, you're reducing the friction, and you're reducing the cost. That's why, if you ask me, I think the banks, in my opinion, are technically feel threatened by the concept of crypto and blockchain. So now I'm going to dig a little bit into what is ErisX and what is the history of ErisX. ErisX was basically founded about 10, 11 years ago, and they had come up with an interest rate swap futures product. And when they did that, they went out to the CFTC, the regulator here, the federal regulator, and they got what's called a DCM. That means they were going to operate a futures exchange. Well, the way that futures work is you actually have to clear those futures trades through a DCO, which is, for example, like the CME. They clear futures contracts. Well, they launched the product, realized that it's rather inefficient, so they end up licensing the IP to the CME, but they're left holding this medallion to operate a futures exchange. So first they, and I'll touch on this in the next slide, but they build out an investor group, a great cap table, which I'll discuss in a second, and then we launch. April 2019, we launch our spot market. A couple months later, we get approved for our DCO by the CFTC. There's only been about a dozen of them that have ever actually been approved in the past for companies. You're thinking of, let's say, like ICE, CME. These are the type of companies that get approved. We were actually approved, which highlights the fact that we're not just regulated on the state level, but we're also regulated on the federal level as well. So April 2019, we launch our spot market. A couple months later, we get approved for our DCO, which allows us to clear futures trades. And then in December of that year, we actually put up, we launched our own proprietary matching engine technology, and then followed up with putting up our first physically settled futures trade. Over the, I would say, preceding year and a half, we went out and got all of our money transmitter licenses, which are about 51 of them, which allows us to conduct business across the U.S. and the outlying island, which called regions, I'm sorry, like the Virgin Islands and so forth, territories, thank you. And we also were able to get the BIT license in New York too, which is a very difficult task. These are some of our early investors before the acquisition. Names you've probably heard before is DRW, Susquehanna, Virtu, which is a publicly traded proprietary trading firm, Bitmain, which is one of the largest mining companies out there. DCG. If any of you have actually bought GBTC in your portfolio, that's the company that actually developed the product. And then we've got our exchange group, which is the CME group, NASDAQ and CBOE invested in us. And then the piece that really attracted me, because I'm from the exchange space, was you always want to have retail participation. You want to actually try to get best decks for your participants. So seeing that Fidelity, Ameritrade, and TradeStation wanted to be involved with ErisX, I thought that was a great opportunity to come aboard. TradeStation and Fidelity are both active on the market right now, and we've actually got some more big retail firms that are in the process as well. So think about the evolution of the market. When I was first starting to trade the space, I was actually trading on exchanges that were in Asia and in Europe, where the KYC AML is a little spotty at best, and it is quite dangerous. You've already heard of some of these horrible hacks and things that have gone on before. It's because there's a lack of regulation in the country. Well, that's crypto 1.0. That's like the first version of us getting involved in crypto. Well, as we advance the asset class, we think of it as crypto 2.0. What does that mean? Kind of goes back to what I was saying before about there being the DCM and the DCO for the CFTC. The way that most asset classes work, let's think about gold. Gold, you have the product. And then when you want to bring it out to the masses, you start developing products on top of that. You actually create an ETF. You create futures on the product, derivative products, options, and so forth. Well, the same thing's happening right now. If you think about it from the space, you've got the CME is trading Bitcoin futures. You've got BAC trading physically settled futures. Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini are all trading spot. But the beauty about what we're doing here at ErisX is we're marrying the two of them. So you've got spot and futures on the same platform. Here's a little information about the exchange in general. We operate a central limit order book. We have 24/7 operations. And I think that's one of the big differentiators. If you're going to look at some of the other venues, if you're going to trade on, we actually have a desk that's available 24/7 that you can actually call somebody and they're going to answer your call and you're going to be able to find an answer with them. A lot of these other companies, you might actually get a hold of them, but they're going to ask you to send an email, get into a chat bot, instead, you get right to the source and you can actually talk to somebody. Same with our client service group. It's available 7 to 7, Monday through Friday. This is the piece that I'm really like, when you're going to look at different exchanges, this is one of our other differentiators. The fact that we're not only regulated on the federal side, but we're also regulated on the state side with those 51 money transmitter licenses and with the DCM and the DCO. So we've got CFTC oversight with the DCO and FinCEN in the states, kind of going back to the money transmitter licenses like I was talking about earlier. It's just a representation of all the states that are covered right now, 51, including the territories. Now we'll dig into what is the experience for the individual once they come aboard. If you fill out your Quest Trust documents to be able to access crypto, what will happen is you'll end up getting credentials to a login to the Exchange Member Portal. This is the Exchange Member Portal. So you're going to actually have here your positions, which is the top row. Then you can actually query your trade activity, which is on the bottom areas there, and get your statements. And then the other part of it is this quick trade widget. So for those of you in the room that don't feel, that get a little bit intimidated by some of these trading front ends that you might see, this simplifies the process. If you want to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, you put that in there. It'll tell you how much Bitcoin you're going to acquire. You hit buy, boom, it's in your account, and that's it. We actually handle all the storage and the custody for you. And the way we envision it, the way that it's set up with a self-directed account, I call it a closed loop. What does that mean? That means that once the monies come in from Quest Trust for your account, it hits ErisX. You purchase coin, and then at that point, you cannot take the coin or the dollars off the account. If you decide to exit out of the position and you'd like the funds to go back to your account at Quest Trust, you sell your position, and then we can actually move the money back through wire ACH back to Quest Trust. Here's another representation if you were going to actually do this on your phone. We haven't developed an app yet, but it's perfectly sized for Apple or what you call it, Samsung, if you're going to do that on an Android device. So just another representation. Here's the more advanced trading tool that we have. So if you're going to go back to this screen, you see the trade button in the top there. You click that trade button, it's going to launch this page. Most of the group has probably traded before, seen something similar to this. It's pretty straightforward. You've got your order book here with buys and sells and liquidity, time and sales on the right there, graphical interface in the middle just showing you the movement of crypto. And then here is your entry screen here. So if you clicked on a buy or a sell, it'll auto-populate here. And then in the bottom area, you could actually see some of the transactions, your working orders or your executed orders as well. We actually have a little bit different than our competitors in the space. We've actually built out some algo strategies. This one is a peg strategy. So if you actually wanted to place a limit order in the book with a peg with an offset, what you could do is if you see the inside and you want to be $1.50 up or down in the bid of the offer, it'll actually float with your order up and down until it moves through your limit price. Here's another representation of it on your mobile device as well. And for those of you in the room that probably remember We Are the World, I love to talk about mass adoption. So people wonder, where is the asset class going? And it really is about institutional adoption. So when you're thinking about, when I talk about it being federally and state regulated, that really, the importance of that is institutional adoption. You want the big players getting into the space and investing, putting it in their portfolios, so that, or the, the hedge funds or mutual funds and so forth. So think about it this way. When you have somebody like BNY saying they're going to enter the space and they have 41 trillion in assets under management, that's not their decision to be in the space. Just like it wasn't Quest Trust's decision to be in crypto. It's you, the general audience, saying, I want to be involved. I want to participate. It's their institution saying, we want access. So we've got 41 trillion in assets under management for BNY. They're getting in the space. They've been vocal about it. They've even purchased or made an investment in a company called Fireblocks. And then even State Street, the second largest custodian on the street, they just made an investment in Copper. They're actually going to be doing their custody for them. Two of the largest custodians on the street are getting involved in crypto, which is pretty amazing. All of you have also probably seen the news of the ETF that's happening, the ProShares ETF, which isn't ideal because it's based under, the underlying is a futures price instead of it being the underlying crypto price, but it's a start. It's a move in the right direction, which is positive. And then also I like to highlight, I always think this is an amazing, pivot for the industry. When PayPal said that they were going to actually have crypto available to their user base, overnight, 350 million people had access to crypto. Think about that, 350. Prior to that, there was only 100 million wallets ever created, 3.5x. Venmo also got involved in the space. That's 70 million people that are actually have access to crypto now. That's amazing. And then even further, when you think about the price, there's even been analyst reports from Citi and some others where they think the price is going to go to 300,000 to 500,000 for Bitcoin in the future. Well, really what it is, it's diversification in your portfolio. We're not going to be all fixed income or equities or whatever it may be. You want to diversify, even if you're going to have precious metals in your portfolio. If you put 2 or 3% in your portfolio, think about it. Everybody has a 401k that, most people have 401ks or ways to invest. If you put 2 or 3% of your portfolio in that and everybody's doing that, that's a game changer. That moves the price. That's 500,000, no problem. And even think about it this way. The beauty of Bitcoin is the fact that it's a limited supply. There's only going to be 21 million ever created in the history. That's the beauty of it. In the US, they want to print more money, they can do that. That's not a problem. With crypto, 21 million ever created. And just, I think, about a week ago, the 19th million one was actually minted and created. There's only 2 more million that can actually come into circulation over the next, I think, 40 years. Because what happens is, every 5 or 6 years, there's what's called a halving event. So right now, the halving event happened, I think, 1.5 years ago, maybe, where we were, the miners might have been getting 10, I think it was 12 Bitcoin for solving an equation, or to be able, the miners were solving the equation, they would be rewarded with 12 Bitcoin. Then it dropped to 6. And it's like a bell curve, so it'll eventually fan out to a very small amount over time. So I know I covered a lot of ground. I'd love to leave it open to questions for anybody in the audience. Go ahead. Yes. Yeah, he was. He raised a lot of eyebrows by doing the $5 billion in his IRA. It's pretty slick. I don't blame him for doing it. I would have done the same thing.
So now with you guys, is it just Bitcoin, or what if I want to do Ethereum? What if I wanted to put something else inside of that?
Great question. So it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and USDC. We're going through this merger right now, as I mentioned before, with the CBOE. So we have limited coins right now. We just didn't want to raise any red flags with the regulators so that if it might have been interpreted as a security. But we've got about 15 to 20 that we have lined up that we want to get listed. Avi and Link are the first ones that are already approved. They were approved before the transaction. So as soon as we're done, we're going to list those, and then we're really going to start ramping up the number of coins we have.
I'll just have another question.
Sure.
Was Solana in one of those questions? Solana?
Yes, Solana is part of the list. It's a little bit trickier because Solana is not an ERC20 token. Okay. So it's much easier to list the ERC20 because, like, Ethereum is built on ERC20. Majority of the coins follow that protocol or ape that they've built on. Solana has its own protocol that's built on. But we do plan on listing it. It's in the list.
Because that's why I'm here.
Yes.
Because I invest in Solana. And I just want to make sure that, of course, I can, you know, if I'm going to deal with Quest, then I need to make sure that you guys accept that Solana in my wallet.
At some point, we will. Now, if you were going to come to me as an entity account, not as a self-directed account, you have the ability to actually withdraw that coin off of the platform. So if you wanted to stake that Solana, you could do that, is my point.
I'm only here for just not entity. I use FTX for entity.
When I say entity, like an LLC or solo
Right. I use my corporations for FTX.
Okay.
But I'm just here personal, just as a regular person. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, a lot of questions. I'm just kidding.
Do you pay interest on any of this?
For the ones online, they can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you pay interest on any of the balances in any of the crypto?
As of right now, we do not. It's something that I'm trying to actually start in the company with the staking. I'd love to be able to offer staking in people's IRA accounts so they can actually generate yield. So it's on the roadmap. I don't have a set date, though.
I have 32 ETH that I'm staking. I just did it through MetaMask, and I keep most on a ledger. So if we move it over, do we have to pay gas prices with Ethereum? Because my Bitcoin, I wouldn't be willing to move over.
Anytime it moves from one wallet to the other, there's no way to avoid the gas fees. I actually did the same with my ledger, where I did it with Lido. I wrapped it in Lido. And the beauty about doing it in Ledger with the Lido is actually, once you lock up and stake that Ethereum, it's very difficult to get it undone.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like 3 to 6 months at a time. And I'm going to wait till the accumulation period, and then I'm just going to ride the wave, write it back down, because I bought it at about between 800 and 900.
Okay.
So I already like 5x'd my money.
It's a great win.
Yeah, well, so far. You never know. Until you sell, you don't know how much you have. But but my kind of longer term is I was thinking about putting it in a trust for my, I guess, my heirs.
Okay.
But
But the other thing about the ETH, and you mentioned Ledger and that Lido, the beauty of it is sometimes when you actually stake it with others, I feel there's a level of security that's lost. When it's in your ledger, you know it's staying in your ledger, but it's giving the consensus and voting rights to the protocol, but you having ownership, and it's more secure by being in that device.
Cool. We got a queue for questions. Brianna, by the way, if there's any questions online, let me know. 2 questions. We'll get to there in a second.
I didn't realize that's a microphone. That's why I was like,
It's a little microphone.
So when the 21 million Bitcoins are complete, when the 21 million Bitcoins are mined, who's going to process the blockchain transactions?
Great question. So that's what the role of the miner is. So people have heard mining in general. The miner serves 2 roles. He solves those complex equations I was talking about, and he gets rewarded for that. And the other thing that he does is he validates the transactions on the blockchain. So as crypto grows, they're the ones that are being basically paid for the toll to move it from point A to point B on the highway. That's the simplest way to describe it. So they serve 2 purposes.
When all the coins are gone,
all of them are mined, then they're going to be fully in circulation.
so who's going to process the transactions then?
The miners will. Still, they serve 2 roles. One is to solve these equations to unlock more Bitcoin. Once they're all unlocked, then their role is to actually, it'll be solely to approve the transactions on the blockchain.
How will they get compensated?
They take a super small fraction of every transaction. It's just like the woman mentioned in the back about the gas fees. Same thing with the Bitcoin. You're going to pay a small toll every time you move it from point A to point B. And that's how they make their money.
So one question I have is...
We got to get the box.
Yeah, how many cryptocurrencies do you carry on the
5
system?
right now. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and USDC, but more to come once we get through the transaction with SIBO.
Okay, and any guidelines on how to choose? Obviously, out of 5 is easy. It's probably all 5 for diversification. But for the ones coming up, what are the guidelines? What are you
There's a quote.
showing
How
us
do we
from-
decide to list them? Is that the question? Or?
No, it's how do we decide to buy them? I mean, what are you giving us? What information you're giving us? So for a new person, how do I invest on that one?
Yeah, no problem. So we're purely an exchange. So I can't necessarily give investment advice. I kind of leave that to you to look to others for the investment advice. But personally, I mean, in my own portfolio, I think it's always best to go with the blue chips outside of, I have Solana myself, so I've invested in that as well. But if you're starting out, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum are usually your best bets. And then once you learn more about the space, then it's good to explore the other coins. Unfortunately, there's a lot of coins out there that are probably not going to be going anywhere. It's kind of probably like a 90-10 rule. Maybe 10% of all of the coins actually are going to turn to be successful, maybe even less. So you just got to be careful.
Yeah, to not give advice, but as a rookie investor, I actually threw some money in Ethereum today. I just stick with the big guys and do my research-based personal research and friends and network and stuff like that. So really, it's kind of what you think is going to skyrocket and whatnot. There's one more gentleman back here. I'm going to get you after, okay?
Sure. Thank you then.
Yeah, add to the queue. Yeah, toss it.
How are we going to know when the ERC20 tokens above regular Ethereum and Bitcoin, how do we know when they come out?
Oh, when they'll be released?
Yeah.
We'll send a market notice as we get them approved.
So we got to sign up for something?
No, once you, there'll be a general, once you sign up and become an exchange member, you'll be part of all of our mailing lists. So whenever there's a trade desk announcement or marketing, you'll have access. There'll be notifications that go out.
Okay.
So a couple of questions for me.
Sure.
So you as a platform, do you just provide somebody to buy and sell crypto or Bitcoin, I'm saying? Or let's say suppose I'm not an expert in terms of how to track the value of Bitcoins, right? So there are some crypto fund managers, they suggest what to buy, when to exit. So do you provide that kind of service, or do you expect we as an investor, like if I have an account with Quest and I want to transfer my money for this, so you expect us to do the trading on our own, or are there advisors who can guide us in terms of?
So the research, unfortunately, would be done by you. We don't give any research at all. Think of us more as a matching engine technology where we're processing orders and bringing liquidity to the book. And another big part of it is the fact that we're doing the KYC AML on all of our clients. If you're going to look for research or color, you'd have to look elsewhere maybe.
So it has to be self-study then?
What's that?
We have to study ourselves and then make a decision what to do, right?
Yep.
Okay. I thought you provide some sort of a fund manager kind of an advice.
No, unfortunately, no.
Okay, that's one. And the second question I have is between Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? We are seeing most of the use cases like around DeFi or smart contract, whatever I'm saying. There are many applications that are getting built on Ethereum, so that way there's a lot of applicability in terms of the use cases they're trying to solve. So that way you can justify the intrinsic value of Ethereum. The more use cases will get built, Ethereum value will go up, right?
Yeah, the more tokens that are using that protocol, it's the protocol itself, the ERC20 that it's built upon, and then all these other products are built upon it as well. Kind of goes back to what the gentleman was saying about Solana. Solana actually competes directly with Ethereum.
Correct.
The two of them. The benefit being it's much faster, and the gas fees are you don't pay the same transaction fees as well.
Correct. So you're saying, what would determine the value of Ethereum? The more use cases, more applications, that means more.
What increases the value of it?
Correct. So the intrinsic value, I'm saying, in terms of, let's say.
I would say the intrinsic value is really derived from supply and demand. So the more
So when you say
demand you
what-
have with this limited supply is what drives the price up.
But in Ethereum, there's nothing called cap to 21 million, right?
No,
It
there's
gets
no cap like that.
That's what I'm saying. So in Bitcoin, it's capped. So that way there's a demand and supply because supply is limited, right?
Yes.
But in case of Ethereum, then.
It's not the same.
So then what would drive the value, I'm saying?
It's just based on supply and demand. So think about all the different products that you can buy with Ethereum. Even think about the whole NFTs now with you people buying these digital paintings. It's just how you're conducting business on wish I had a better answer for you, but it's just supply and demand. It kind of comes down to it.
So in a way, there's nothing called limited supply for Ethereum. That's what you're
No,
saying.
there isn't really. I shouldn't say that.
Correct. But Bitcoin, yes. That's what
Bitcoin there is.
Second, there's a few online. We're going to get them and go back to you, okay? Brianna, hit us with the questions.
All right. Question number one. Can you speak to what the security protocols are on ErisX's platform?
I can't necessarily dig into that because they're proprietary. I can divulge who we use as a custodian, which is BitGo. which is one of the largest custodians in the industry right now, one of the early adopters too.
All right, second question, what are the fees like with ErisX?
Sure. The transaction fees for anybody that's doing an IRA transaction is 50 basis points. There are no custody fees at all on that transaction.
I can speak to that. I'd put $100 today, costs 50 cents. Very cheap. What was the question over here? There we go.
Yes, so, you guys are here because of Quest Trust also, right? So this is a question for both of you guys. So at the very end of it, okay, because this is an IRA thing, right? So at the very end of it, when you're 65, 70, or whatever, we want to draw the money out. Go, travel around the world and all that. How does that transaction take place when you have an X amount of dollar, an X amount of crypto in there? And the world is changing to crypto now. Let's just say, in theory, can you keep that crypto in a certain wallet and just, start withdrawing that?
Absolutely. That's the beauty of it. Kind of goes back to what I was saying before. You can actually liquidate any part of that position once you reach retirement age. And then if you do, it's going to be liquidated into US dollars. And then you would just instruct us to move the monies
You
back
just said liquidate US dollar, but can you liquidate that into Bitcoin or Ether or whatever?
Yeah, I mean,
it is?
if you wanted to, are you talking about like a different pair? Like I want to sell my Bitcoin into Ethereum or Ethereum?
No. I want to take Bitcoin now because I want to use Bitcoin now.
Oh, you want to use it?
Yeah.
In the self-directed account, you cannot withdraw the
the US
coin.
dollar?
You can't. You can sell the position and move the dollars back into your account at Quest Trust. If you set up a solo 401k or an LLC account, you have more flexibility with that account. So you can actually take the coin out. But I don't mean to speak ahead. I mean, the people at Quest Trust are probably better at this when it comes from taxes, but you're responsible for the taxes once it comes off the exchange then because you're an entity account. So you've got to keep a record of all of that.
Right. And then what about, getting to taxation a bit here. I mean, do you really know what happens with the taxation moving forward with the government and things like that?
I don't think the government even knows how to tax it, to be honest. with you.
Yeah,
I mean, I've read through if you've read through the executive order that came out recently.
Yeah. So we all kind of don't know, and you can laugh about it and all that stuff, like who the hell knows, right? Hell, when it comes down to it, it's going to be 20%. Right?
What is that, about 20%?
No, I'm talking like the tax, the capital gains and all that stuff. So we don't know for sure.
I mean,
in the IRA, there won't be a.
Yeah, but I mean, if they know your basis, and then whatever you gain in too.
There's tax software out there, like Sovos and some others, that if you put your transactions in there, and you can actually download it from ErisX, or if you're trading on a different exchange, these tax providers for crypto, you put in all of the spreadsheets that they provide you from the different exchanges, and they'll figure out first in, first out, or LIFO, or whatever it may be. And it really comes down to best efforts, to be honest with you. I think that there's just a lack of clarity in the space right now from a taxation standpoint. But I think with the executive order and some of the other things that are going on right now, that's a really good sign because it shows that the government wants a framework in place.
Yeah, I think it's gotten a lot of young people into this thinking that the taxation is going to be low, and then you can get a slap in the face at some point in time.
Well, I agree. I mean, you really need to be diligent and stay on top of it.
Yeah, and just on your first point in the IRA side, it functions exactly the same. You distribute an asset, you distribute cash, you distribute a real estate asset, whatever it is. It'll be taxable if it's in a traditional IRA, or maybe non-taxable if you're using a Roth IRA. That does not change, and like you mentioned, you'd have to get it liquidated to cash before it reaches your IRA back at Quest, and then you can decide what you'd like to do with it. But remember, right in front of you, there's a great CPA. Man. Just a little plug there. Question back here.
I appreciate the presentation. I don't do Bitcoin, so I may be oversimplifying this, but it looks like you have an asset that works at spot, and now you're introducing recently introducing some kind of component where there's an options market on it now.
Futures.
Futures are. So I guess there's going to be trading and volatility in that too. In what way does that either enhance or increase the risk of your underlying if I want to buy the asset, but I don't want to hedge, I don't want to trade in futures or options?
I mean, then if you're not hedging, there is obviously a greater risk. If you wanted to buy the Bitcoin and sell the future on it and try to hedge the two positions against each other. I mean, right now with us, we actually have a margin application in with the CFTC. So we got approved to actually trade futures. but they're fully funded, which really defeats the purpose of margin and being able to have that leverage. Our margin application went in, the second version of it, because we put it in about a year ago, went in about 3 weeks ago. And one of the benefits of the SIBO transaction was the fact that if you're going to have a futures exchange, you need to have what's called a waterfall or a default fund, which means if somebody blows up in there, all the other constituents are going to be made whole. So what happens is the clearing brokers fund that. With us, the CBOE was nice enough to actually set aside $100 million for that default fund to help get the margin going in it. So I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, because I've been waiting for quite some time, that we'll get approved by CFTC for margin in Q2. And then that puts us in a really unique position, because then it gives you the flexibility to be able to write a future or sell the Bitcoin or buy Bitcoin between the two of them.
Any more questions? Oh, one back here. All right. Oh, a few more. All right, we'll get y'all.
John, I appreciate it. This is really good.
Oh, thank you.
So when's your timeline for the ERC20 tokens again?
I would
Coins?
say as soon as this SIBO transaction closes, and I'm hopeful within
Month,
the next
2 months,
30 days or
30
so,
days,
Will.
cool.
I'm hopeful. It's not us that's holding it up, it's the regulators. So right now, with all those money transmitter licenses I was mentioning, you need to do a transfer. And each of the states are different.
Right.
And that's really been the final hurdle. Even though it's a large organization and a huge balance sheet with SIBO, it just takes time. And unfortunately, the sense of urgency isn't with the regulators as it is with us. So I'm hopeful that once we do get approved, I would say over the next year, we're planning 20 different coins.
Good. As far as moving the money over, I'm guessing you're moving cash into the Quest account, and then that's turning into a USDC, or what kind of?
Yeah. So if and correct me if I say this wrong by anybody from Quest, but you open up the account, and then you would either wire or ACH the funds into your account at ErisX. Once they hit the account, you would show up on that exchange member portal I showed you, and then at that point, you would have the US dollars there, and you could use the quick trade widget or the full trading front end that I showed before. So and also just so that the audience knows this, if you wanted to buy crypto outside of your IRA account, we do accept direct members to the exchange as well, too.
Yeah, it's actually
and those
really
fees are actually less because you're not doing all the paperwork and processing. If you came direct to the exchange, it's 20 basis points.
Just to confirm though.
Yeah.
Quest is turning the cash into
So no, it's actually the cash is being moved from Quest into our exchange. Right. It's up to you at that point to convert the USD.
Exactly, yeah. So your first steps obviously is, if you don't have an account already, it's the account setup. You go through the normal motions of moving money in, transfer, rollover, whatever it may be. And then once you create your ErisX profile, it's actually a quick little button, and it sends Quest, Trust Company, this little packet with all your information, and we'll send the funds to the ErisX platform. Then you just have to function out of that website to then do your trading. It's very, very simple. I think there was 2 more questions. We'll knock those out, and then we'll. Yep.
So is your platform Coinbase? Who's backing or is it your exchange?
It's our own exchange. We're actually separate from Coinbase.
So you're separate from Coinbase?
Yeah. So those investors that showed up on the screen before were the original investors. So we compete directly with a Coinbase, a Kraken, or a Gemini.
Okay. So in the future, you're going to have Solana, correct?
Yes.
So let's say I have a coin that I'm investing in that's on the Solana exchange, and I want to put that in a wallet. Could I do that?
At some point, once we actually cover Solana, if you wanted to move Solana into the account or move it out, we'll actually be able to support that in our wallet.
Okay, so if I wanted to, let's just say, put a coin in there that's a pretty solid coin, but it's just on the Solana exchange, but I want to put it in my wallet and put it in Quest. Is that possible to do that?
That's not possible to do right now. Now, if you did the entity route, like I said before, the LLC or the solo 401k, and you had that somewhere else, and you wanted to move it into your account, you can actually do that.
Okay.
Once we have access to Solana.
Okay. So there's no way I could take something like 0.000, drop it into a wallet, let Quest holds it, and we
Quest will never. That's the beauty of the way we
you're gonna
create
hold
this.
it because
We
you're the
hold it.
exchange.
They
Right.
they don't hold the
it.
coin. They don't have the custody.
No, I got you. You hold the coin. So you have your own. So you're on the blockchain, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the company I mentioned before, BitGo, is our custodian. So that's the company that supports our wallets.
Okay, gotcha. And I'll probably talk to you a little bit after.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry. No worries. I think there was one more raised hand back here. And then we'll, I think we have a raffle. We'll cut off the questions and
Sure.
we'll just continue networking and stuff. There you go.
Quest only gets involved when it's time to fund it, correct? You can do
Fill out the
everything else.
paperwork to open
Yeah.
the account and to fund it.
And
Fund the
everything else
account.
is independent. You can just go straight.
We're
to your
completely
company and do it.
independent from Quest.
Okay, and there's not going to be any trades, right?
Any what?
Trading coins?
What kind of coins?
Trading?
What do you mean trading? Can you just define trading coins?
Trading one coin for another coin?
You can do that. You can actually, there are currency pairs on there. So
Oh,
if
I
you
thought it
wanted
was
to
all
buy
purchase.
Bitcoin and convert it into Ethereum, you could do that.
Oh, you can.
And,
Okay.
and likewise with the other coins I described earlier.
Okay.
So Quest is separate from ErisX. We're the platform that allows you to use your IRA account, right? You need a custodian for that. And then just as if you're buying real estate, you're now getting into a platform now buy crypto. And they're kind of that connecting piece. And then you start transacting through their ErisX platform. So it's very, very quite easy. Actually takes 5 minutes to set up the account. It's very easy to do. But we thank you for your time.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Stay, everyone who kind of signed in at the beginning and got a little raffle ticket, we're actually just going to go ahead and raffle that out very quickly. Nicole, I'll let you take it, or Derek, or whoever.
Oh, yeah, Nicole's going to do that.
Nicole's got it.
Okay, hey guys.
Yeah, you
Does this
just-
work? Nope.
Beep, beep. All right, that works. Awesome. Hey guys out there online, see, that's why you should show up, because we are right now doing the raffle for the Johnny Walker Black Label Scotch. Who likes Scotch? I'm a whiskey guy myself, but I mean, I want to turn down some Johnny Walker. All right. What do you guys think of the crypto stuff? Was that good? A lot of questions came about. All right, so real quick, we're going to do a quick little. All right. Adam, I'm going to let you read the number. What's the number on there? 829005. Who's that? Wow, look at that. It's Byron right there in the back. Congratulations. Woo. Hey, guys, overall, we want to make sure you guys understand. Yeah, high five. Thank you. Bam. Good job. All right, guys, so overall, we want to make sure you really understand that you are able to use your IRAs for these type of investments. I know Quest is focused so much on doing things in the real estate realm, from rentals and fix and flips and notes and syndications, but this is something that's brand new. And Quest spent a lot of time, we really did, looking at multiple different cryptocurrency groups, really to hopefully partner with in these type of things. And your guys' platform is amazing. It really is. Me and Juan today, the gentleman that was walking around the cube, we actually got to experience and put our own money already in the crypto stuff as like the trial run, and it was unbelievably simple. So just take a minute, take into consideration, check it out. Remember, you can use your IRA for that. Obviously, if you want to set up an IRA and you don't have one, it is 100% free right now. Get myself, Juan, Nicole Bake over there, Kurt Power. Right? One of us will set you up an IRA, but really don't forget about the Expo. All right? At the Expo, we're going to be doing a bigger deep dive into cryptocurrency. All right? We're going to be doing a deep dive into all sorts of other things, real estate and investment related. And today only is when this coupon works for $50. Now, one thing we did talk about a lot was the general admission tickets. Right, general admission tickets with the $50 coupon comes out to $125. However, VIP tickets are almost sold out. So if you would like a VIP ticket, all right, grab them using the discount code. I want to say there's 8. There might be 10. All right, but once they're sold out, they're sold out. What the VIP tickets does, it does get you into a private dinner. All right, or a private lunch with some of the higher end network people. You get to actually network more with the individual speakers. You get a free ticket to casino night. Yes. Free ticket to casino night. If you haven't been to casino night, lots of fun, lots of drinks, a lot of, lunch, snacks. I mean, all sorts of stuff. It really is. So the VIP tickets are where it's at. There's only 8 to 10, so make sure you check it out. If you have any questions, just let us know. So one more big round of applause for our guest speaker. Make sure you guys network. Let us know what you can do. And out there online, if you have any questions, we have our moderators. They'll stay online just for a couple more minutes for you guys. So thank you, everybody. Woo! This is where the music starts to play. Bump, 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 bump. Everybody! Ready? This is where the music plays. Bump, 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 bump. Everybody! Zach, unfortunately, next. Who needs an Expo ticket? Expo tickets? Expo tickets. Whoop, 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 whoop. Ben, yeah, they're getting theirs from Brianna. I told Ted. Haha. You can just email her, and I'll make sure she honors the coupon code tomorrow if you guys have to head out. Don't forget to check out Adam Barr, the CPA over there. Woo!
Good joke. Good joke.
I do have an IRA question.
Sure.
All right, let's say, I use my self-directed IRA. I'm
Gabe, you want to say something in the mic?
What's up, everybody?
Woo! All right, guys, getting some Expo tickets over here. Awesome. Want to say something?
Go Expo.
Go Expo. I love it. Yeah. I do not.
I have a question. How do you do so well at the screaming